Hey, what's good, folks? So today we're here with Rod the Broker all the way from Harlem, man. But to get back to some real shit, man. Like I did some background check and let's see like who are you, know, because some of these rappers be talking about how they gangsters and shit, you know, Bloods and Cribs, and you know how this politics goes. But they ain't about that life. They tell kids this is how I got up here, gang banging and shit.
Right.
But they got no criminal charge. So
right.
How you preaching something you never done? You know what I mean? And mostly in New York, man, you get checked for that shit. And I love that shit. Like I was like, I posted a post the other day, right? It seemed like some gang shit with shooting and shit, but it's not that. I'm trying to do this some kind of shit. So I was like, you know what? I feel like I gotta do this because I'm from Brooklyn, and I don't feel disrespected by it. I actually respect it because that's what we need, you know?
Right.
I respect some shit like that because there's a lot of these kids being misled by so many
false
naysayers
and false goonies and all these dudes that's promoting bullshit. You know what I'm saying? That they won't tell their kid. You won't tell your kid to live like that, nigga. That's why you gonna tell somebody else's kid to live like that, nigga?
How you call it? Like let's get straight to the point how Gangster came up, man, and how gangster. What's a gangster and what's a gangster? Because most of these cats don't know the difference, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like back in the days, like way back in the days, there was like no crimes, there was no police. Police wasn't needed in the streets, right? And
people
then
could police themselves. You only need police when you can't police yourself.
Here's the thing: the city needed money, and they didn't want African Americans to go on top. They were scared they was gonna take their place because they want to be the dominant ones. You know what I mean? And that's how it was back in the days. You know what I mean? And so they made policing and shit. They gave the hoods cocaine.
Right.
The FBI gave cocaine. Right. So this how this shit came up. So
J. Edgar Hoover, the motherfuckers is wicked, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The motherfuckers give you 30 years, 40 years. Or some shit that you did 20 years ago, but you don't even do that shit no more. But they've been watching you for so long, and the charges are so strenuous. You know, the feds got like a 90% conviction rate.
Here's the thing though: they bring it in and then they put it illegal so they could arrest it. So you could pay, you could work in the jail and they have some way to pay tax in the city and shit. You know what I mean?
That shit is a system. Everything is a system, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying?
They said slavery is over, but how can we get them back? You know what I mean? So they created the jail system and jurisdiction and the FCC with all that shit. You know what I mean? So this is how we're gonna get them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then like the beautiful thing where hip hop came with this is where groups like Public Enemy came out, KRS-One, and these type of people came out talking conscious shit that was going on in the streets, informing the people, telling them, yo, this is what's going on, this is what's going on. So it was impossible for the people to not know what was going on, who got shot today, who got shot yesterday, and it would go against them. You know what I mean? So they found out that they found out that was gonna ruin their plans. So they said, you know what, we're gonna call these hoodlums gangsters, right? Gangsters. So once that happened, like you gotta realize they wasn't doing like it is nowadays where they shooting their own people, their own kind, and shit like that, and selling this, selling that. No, they were there to protect the people. Right. Like the Black Panthers and shit like that. So many gangs came out of like all of that they were trying to do, you know?
Yeah, everything was. All these brothers before us was just trying to secure their community. They were trying to protect their community because they was being oppressed by the powers that be. You know? So that's why everything is like I said, man. If there's no oppression, there's no unity. Yeah. So what comes with that is if people don't have an enemy, then they make enemies. It's just the way life is. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's you're either predator or prey. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta choose who you're gonna be. You know what I'm saying? And no matter what, when you're doing something that's worth something, and you're doing something that's gonna motivate someone other than yourself, you're gonna have enemies.
But here's the thing though, like how hip hop was brought up to, like the industry, because back in the days they didn't pay attention to hip hop, because it was just something that people did, you know, like DJ Kool Herc in the park of the Bronx, in the Bronx. You know what I mean? We talking about New York back in the days, man. Man, it's crazy. You couldn't feed families back in the days. Nowadays, a lot of these cats, you know, it's kind of a beautiful thing, because a lot of these cats are not going to jail shit, or even though they're talking a lot of negative shit, but at least they're not dead or in jail, you know.
Right.
And they're eating. But besides the fact, we'll get to that very soon. Besides that fact, you gotta look at it like this. Once they saw they could profit off of it, profit off of hip hop with the turntables and all that shit, you know what I mean? Because now it's starting to grow with it. So they said we can make money off of this and money off of that. So that's when the labels came in, and they saw, like, that's when it started to expand in the West Coast, and, you know, started going over there. And then they took it in NWA, if I'm not mistaken, doing some gangster music. Not gangster, gangster.
One of my favorite rap groups. I listen to NWA. Like, I listen to Straight Outta Compton. I listen to what was their last shit before they broke up? Real Niggas. You know what I'm saying? I listen to that shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, man, what was their last album? I think it was Real Niggas, if I'm not mistaken.
I really don't know the history about NWA.
NWA, yo, Appetite for Destruction. They, you know what I mean? Express Yourself. Fucking, She Swallowed It, like all that shit. Like,
but that's the thing though, they was expressing what they was living in the streets, you know, without knowing, innocently knowing that they were going to use that against the people.
Of course.
Because they don't want to see the people united. The people were too united. Like, they get that, like, they're scared that y'all were going to take over, you know what I mean? They didn't want that. There's a reason why they had slaves.
That's why Banging on Wax never really got to the masses. I know about Banging on Wax, because, like I said, I study and I listen. And I'm a student of the game. So I go into those archives, but niggas don't know about Banging on Wax. Niggas don't know that the Crips and the Bloods and Cali did a whole fucking album together. You know what I'm saying? Like, niggas don't know that. The media gonna show you that the Crips and the Bloods are blowing each other's heads off. It's spiral because, you know what I mean, even in the prison systems, a lot of brothers was being oppressed. You know what I'm saying? In blood form. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, we get into all that shit, but at the end of the day, I don't want to get into that. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to know that if you don't know. You know what I'm saying?
But just looking at this, we talking history, man. We talking about history, the history.
Exactly, the history of this shit. Like you said, like, at the end of the day, niggas gotta know their history and they don't know. So that's why they so in the blind of what's going on. They don't know that all this shit happened already. This shit already happened.
The thing is,
all you gotta do is go into the books and motherfucking compare one situation to the new situation and see the whole motherfucking turnabout of how that shit.
But here's the thing:
judge how this.
They know that we can't read, so where they gonna hide it in a book?
That's the shit. You wanna hide something from nigga? Put in a book.
A
lot of niggas can't read, nigga.
But here's the thing:
pick up a book, nigga, and read a book, and you'll find out what's really going on. Cause that's what I did. You know what I'm saying? I had to read that shit, nigga. What else you gonna do when you in prison, nigga? You gonna read, nigga? What the fuck? You gotta do something to entertain yourself. You can't play the game, nigga. Ain't no Xbox One in the jail, nigga, unless you in one of these other jails. But if you in New York, nigga.
And let me ask you in jail, did you have to pay for shit?
Hell yeah.
You know, now look at it like this. You're paying the prison. You had to work, right?
Hell yeah.
But you're a prisoner. So why the fuck would you have to do that if you're a prisoner?
Yo, and that's where this comes in. Labor unions, things like that. All that different shit that you see today. You know what I'm saying? All that comes from prison methods. You know what I'm saying? The method, slavery, all that shit is prison methods. Methods of a prisoner. You know what I'm saying? If you look at the slaves back in the days, they was given certain liberties and things like that, depending on their workload or what they did to keep them working. You know what I'm saying? It's the same shit with the prison system. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers keep occupying the prison cells, shit like that, because they don't know no other way to get paid. So they do the same bullshit that they did to get to that motherfucker again when they get home. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't know, they don't have no trades.
I feel like we're gonna have to continue this conversation, man, some other time, man. Because I don't want to bore the people, man. If we do this shit, I was thinking about this because we did like 3 takes, man. Freaking camera shut off on us, and we said like, yo, we gotta get this shit down, man. You know, I feel like we talk about it so much, but I feel like, I don't know, someday we're gonna have to really schedule some shit and really talk about this shit, you know, break it down, you know what I mean?
We can break it all down, like we can do that on another episode or something.
Yeah, you know? But strictly for just for that, man. But today we're here for your music, man. I don't really want to go off your music. Right. So I was hearing that music, man. I was like, yo, it's a beautiful thing, man, because if you see, like, people want that real shit back. I mean, we already had like the dancing and all that shit, pop. You know, it's nice and shit, but we want that real shit back. You know what I mean? Like I was telling you behind the camera, like the '90s babies, like they already grew up. You know, growing up, you gotta. They don't give a fuck because we don't give a fuck because you're growing up. You just want to party and shit. But now that we grew up, we're up in these businesses and shit industry now, and we want that real shit. You know what I mean? We're bored of that shit. I mean, here's some Drake once in a while, yeah, it's good, but we want some real shit, you know, shit that we can relate to, to be like, yo, this is shit that you live in New York. Right. It's the shit that you live in the streets, you know, it's not easy as it seems, and you're always dancing and shit.
Yeah, don't motherfucking take that from the people, man. Like, don't take that from the people. Don't try to dictate what the people want and what the people need, man. Like, stop. Because a lot of people are not living in this real world. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are caught up in different worlds. They're in the internet world. They're in their world at work because it's different worlds. Yeah. You understand? And a lot of people aren't worldly people, so where they can just navigate through these different worlds and conquer them. You understand what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people are stuck in their mold, so they're listening to this other shit and they're not giving no time for this good shit, this shit that's gonna make their brain bigger. You know what I'm saying? They wanna listen to this shit that's gonna make their brain smaller. Make them think smaller, make them think more minute, make them think petty. You understand what I'm saying? That's why so many people are petty these days, because they don't see the big picture and shit. You know, so.
Yeah, like a lot of people told me, like, yo, how you gonna do these interviews and shit? Like when I first started, right? You gonna do this shit? I said, you know what? Fuck that. We gonna curse on this shit. We gonna drink on this shit. We gonna smoke on this shit. We gonna be real on this shit. I don't want nobody to come and be like, oh, we gonna do this. Like,
and you know, once your shit pop, once your shit pop, it's gonna be a motherfucker in a suit that pull up on you and try to tell you how you gonna do your shit. Because he gonna try to see if you gonna sell your soul
but here's the thing,
for
though.
your business. You know
I'm gonna make sure I'm ready for that day, you know? The day that shit happens, I'll be like, I'm not even gonna say a word. You know what I mean? It's either you back off or you back off, you know what I mean? I mean, I'm not a street dude, I wasn't none of that. But I grew up in these streets, I'm not none of that violence, but I gotta do what I gotta do, you know? Right. I gotta make sure I gotta protect myself.
Your business, man. Whatever's your business, keep that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, no matter how much you and save your money. That way you ain't gotta sell your business.
Another thing.
You got so many brothers, you know what I'm saying, that
buying cars and shit,
and they blew their money, and now they can't keep their business. Now they gotta sell their business.
But here's the thing, though. The beautiful thing is I did my homework. You know, I listened to the OGs. Like the OGs wasn't doing this shit, man. Right. You think they wanted to sell crack and this shit? I don't want to. I want to make sure I'm not that person, you know. And I want to make sure that these young people, these young kids in the mama's wombs, or the kids in the streets right now, whoever I can do some benefit to, give them some job and shit, you know what I mean? And I mean in a big business where they be winning good money, and not just have them as employees, but make sure they become entrepreneurs and get their own business, you know what I mean? Why the fuck do I want workers for? I want to have people who want to do their own business and be like, yo, this is what we're going to do today. I'm like, because the thing is that people say that people from these streets, man, got no talent, that they're hoodlums and shit, but if you really know these street dudes, they know how to do math. These people are smart as fuck, you know what I mean?
Motherfuckers is sharp, man.
These people got bright ideas.
Know,
I was.
You sit down and you speak with them, man. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. And I was like, nah, man, like this is not how it's supposed to be, you know? If there's money there's money for everybody in this industry, you know what I mean? And like, I don't know why motherfuckers is running.
A nigga act like he gonna motherfucking take every dollar that's in this game, nigga. Like, you ain't gonna do that. It's too much dollars.
Besides that, let's say you do that,
you
right?
might as well break it.
And when you die, well, what the fuck where that money gonna go?
Where's it gonna go? You gonna take it with you in the casket, nigga?
I bet you whatever you want that the city's gonna take that shit.
If you wasn't as stingy as you should, as you shouldn't be, if you was about some type of loyalty, whatever, hopefully you'll leave that money to your people. You know what I'm saying? And don't be a stingy motherfucker. You leave that money with your kids.
But even then, they still take most of it, man.
Yeah, they will take that bread.
And if they can't take it over, they're gonna make some loops around it to make sure.
But what you gotta do is you gotta keep your business.
Yeah.
Whatever your business is, keep your business, man. Don't sell your business, man. That's why you got dudes like Dave Chappelle that stopped doing the Chappelle show. Shit like that, because they was trying to take his business.
Yeah.
And he wasn't with it.
Yeah.
And they tried to bully him.
It's like this. I read it take 3 years doing ACapellicTV. Even right now, we don't got no freaking background, nothing dope. You know what I mean, right?
It's gonna grow,
but it's gonna grow. I'm gonna make sure this shit grow. You know what I mean? Cause
as long as you got vision, listen, man. Perfect example, man. You know, they certain rappers and people might talk about, you know, now later shit and all that. You rapping about shit now and hope you get later and shit like that. I mean, whatever the case may be, dudes talk about things like that, right?
Yeah.
And what you gotta realize is the secret. It's a secret in anything in life. Like, you gotta speak shit into existence. You might not have it right then and there. You know what I'm saying? But you envision yourself in it.
Yeah.
You can see yourself living that life.
Yeah.
That's what happens, man. We didn't wake up and say, yo, man, we gonna be scholar committee one day, and we visioned that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, nah, we gonna be scholar committee. Like, it took time for us to come up with that name. It took time for us to put this work in. It took time for me to.
Because you don't get that idea one day to another day. No, that shit takes time. As you go. Like, as you grow up, you get new ideas. You be like, I could do this.
It took time for you to stamp ACapellicTV, ACapellicTV.
Yeah.
It took time for you to stamp that.
First of all, I needed to get my mind right, man, because I was listening to too much negative shit, and I was thinking different. And then I said, you know what? I could do some different shit. Right. I was like, I'm tired of that freaking phony shit where everybody's acting all phony. I'm like, fuck that, man. I'm gonna do some different shit. I want some real shit. Like this for me feels like when hip hop just starting in the basements, mama basements and shit. Right. You know what I mean? I'd be like, I want to be part of that history. Yeah. I want to be part of the history that's gonna be remembered. I don't want to be part of a history that would be like, oh, they had some fancy shit and shit like that, and it only lasted a year.
Right, exactly. I don't want to be here today and going tomorrow, man. You want to leave a legacy, man. You want to. Yeah. You want to leave a legacy and be. You want to be somebody great, man. You don't want to just. I mean, you don't have to be famous or nothing, but just the people from your hood, the people from your area. You want them to be like, yo, man, I love you, man. Love you, man. Yo, you did that shit.